Let's take a look at how we can create custom master pages and apply them to our templates. It's fairly easy to do, you just need to know their procedure. I have open right here a chapter file that we're going to use as a sample. It's a single-sided document, so if we scroll down the document, you'll notice that all the page numbers are on the right-hand side. So the first thing we'd want to do is we'd probably want to make this a double-sided document. Easily done. All we need to do is click on Format, Page Layout, Pagination. We can select from single-sided to double-sided. FrameMaker is going to want to know, do we want to start our document on the right or left page? So we want to choose right because it's really the chapter file. If we were going to split our chapter file and have a continuation file, we'd probably want to keep it not right or left, but next available, and we'd set that on a book level. So what we can do is let's select right. Also, Frame will want to know, what do we want to do before we save or print? I always like to delete empty pages. So if we do have conditional text and we do a show hide and we make some of the graphics and text disappear, what we want to do is we want to make sure that our pagination is correct, our page numbers are correct, and we don't have a lot of blank pages. So I always like to set it to delete. In the book, when we actually create a book, what we can do is we can tell FrameMaker to create any empty pages we need to make sure that it starts on a right page if we have multiple chapters. So let's just hit set. Now what we have is we have a right and a left page. So if we actually were to scroll down, we'll take a look and you'll see that now we have alternate pages. So FrameMaker's smart enough to know that a right page would want a page number on the right side and a left page would want a page number on the left side. But we do have the ability to change that. That's just the default assumption. So let's go click on View, Master Page, take a look at these pages. The first one was the right page that you saw, and we see where the master page had the page number. This is a variable. And on the left side, we actually have a running header footer variable that actually mimics any text that has a paragraph tag of chapter applied to it. We can talk about that more later. So let's go look at the left page, and if we scroll up, you'll see that it's the left page. You'll see at the very bottom of the status bar, you'll see the name of the page. It's left, and we have the page number on the left hand side. So that's really what creates that whole feeling of right and left pages. So that's fairly easy to do. Next thing that we probably want to do is we probably want to create a first page. So the first page is going to look a little different than the normal right and left master page. So just so you could actually see the full page layout, let's change the way that our zoom is set. So we're going to click on this down arrow here and we're going to say fit page to window. Now this gives us a nice full page view. Very difficult to read the text. In fact, after a certain screen font, we get Greek screen text. You can go into your file preferences menu and change that if you have a high resolution graphics card. But what we want to do is we want to create another master page that would be used for the very first page. Easily done. Let me show you how it's done. So let's go click on View, Master Page. Now Frame really only needs to know what do we want to do? Do we want to start with a blank page, or do we want to start with a right or a left page and then just change the look and feel? So let's click on Special, Add Master Page. We're going to need to name it, so I'm going to name it First. And if we wanted to start with a completely blank master page, we could say give me an empty page, and we can create our own text boxes. For this video, let's just copy the very first page, and FrameMaker will do that. When we click on Add, we'll automatically create a first master page. You can see on the status bar area, and it looks just like our right page. So what we can do is we can make some modifications just so it can look different, and we can apply them to our body page. So I'm going to hold down the Control key and I'm going to click. Now that selects our text box. I can click on the little handle here and drag it down. Now, I'm not going to be precise, I'm just creating something so you can see the basic steps. Now I want to bring in some kind of graphic just so you can see how that works. I'm going to click on File, Import, File. Frame's going to ask where's the graphic. I'm going to select it. I have this graphic right here. Now the next selection we're going to have is, should we import by reference or copy into the document? Import by reference is a link to this graphic. So if this graphic is going to change and we want it to dynamically change in our document, what we're going to want to do is we're going to import by reference. Now if I wanted to always have this graphic embedded on this master page, what I can do is I can copy it into the document. Sometimes people like to do that because they like to move their files around, and maybe they don't want to actually have a graphic subdirectory that's maybe a child subdirectory, and move that around. It might be a little easier from here. Just watch out, file size gets a little larger when you do that, because we're actually embedding the graphic into the master page. And if we do that to multiple pages, if you have multiple chapters, now you're increasing. So if you had 10 chapters, now you've really have 10 times the amount of disk space being used if you copy into the document. But you have the choice. Let's click import. Next thing that's going to happen is Frame's going to want to know what kind of dots per inch setting you want to use. Now basically the way it works is, if you scanned your document at say 300 dots per inch, if you say 300 dots per inch here, it's going to be exactly the same size. But generally speaking, the higher the dots per inch, the smaller the graphic size, because what it's doing is it's squeezing the dots per inch into a smaller area. So the smaller the number of dots per inch, the larger the image. So let's select for this exercise 300 dots per inch, and I hit set. Now we can arrange where this graphics is going to go. Now this is going to be what we're going to see on our very first master page. So we have a first master page. Let's go back to View, Body Page. Now if we wanted to apply this, there's a couple of ways of doing it. Let's look at the traditional way. And since it's the very first page of our chapter, this is fairly a legitimate way of doing it. If we talk about applying master pages in the middle of our document, or anything after the first page, I definitely want to do it a different way, and we're going to have a part 2 of this video that will show you how to create that master page mapping table. But what we're going to do is we're going to click on Format, Page Layout, Master Page Usage, Custom, select the name of the master page we just created. Now what we're going to do is we're going to apply it to the current master page. Now we have other options here, and this was used quite a bit in earlier revisions of FrameMaker. We certainly don't want to apply our master pages under most cases if it isn't the first master page like this. In fact, with the master page mapping table, we can also apply it with the first master page through the master page mapping table. So let's just take a look at this and see how it works. And we'll hit apply, and now we have the first page. We have a left page because Frame knows that this is our second page and it's left, and it knows the third page is right. So we have this nice little flow. We have a right, left, and we have a first page. Now sometimes what you want also is a landscape page. So that's not hard to do. Let me just show you the procedure. We'll make a landscape page for right pages and a landscape page for left pages. When we create a master page mapping table, Frame is going to be smart enough to know if we're on a right page or if we're on a left page, and apply the correct master page if we set up the master page mapping table correctly. But in this video, let's see how to create the landscape right and left master page. Not that difficult to do. We can click on View, Master Page. Now again, we're going to go Special, Add Master Page. We're going to want to name it, so we're going to say Landscape Right, and we're going to copy from the right page, because basically what we want to do is we want to make sure, and you'll see the name is correct right here. It says Landscape Right. What we want to make sure is that when this document prints, I want the footers to be correct when it prints out, and I'm actually going to have a landscape graphic looking this way, and then when we put it into a binder, at least the page numbers and the footers line up properly. And if you wanted to, you could actually pull it out and take a look at it sideways. From a PDF document standpoint, it will be horizontal. So this is the example that I'm going to be providing. So basically right now it's an exact copy of our right, so we need to do something right here where we're going to turn and rotate the page itself. So we're going to click on Format, Customize Layout, Rotate Page Clockwise. Now we've turned the page, not a problem, but this text box is currently writing the wrong way. So all we've done is turn the page, but we haven't really turned the text box. So we're going to hold down the control key and click. Now that we've done that, we've selected the text box. We can right click and select object properties. Now the next step is going to be extremely easy. What we need to do is we need to change the height and width, and we're going to actually just inverse the numbers. So instead of 6'9", it's going to be 9'6", and the angle, what we need to do is turn this text box around 90 degrees. So I'm going to set it to 0 and hit set. Click outside the text box, and you'll notice now, if you look at our I-beam, that text is actually being typed in correctly. So now we've just created our landscape right master page. Let's do the same thing for the left. So we're going to go Special, Add Master Page, name it Landscape Left. We're going to copy from the left master page this time because we want the page numbers to be correct. We're going to rotate this page, counterclock this wise this time. And what we're going to do is we're going to hold down the control key, click, right click, object properties. We're going to inverse the text boxes this time. It's actually a little different on this one here, but what we're going to do is we're going to say 9 and 6. And we're going to rotate it 90 degrees again. So 90 degrees would be 360 or 0 because it's a circle. So I'm going to say 0. And we're done. Now when I click out, we're good to go. So you'll notice that we have the footer information on the right hand side on the left page, and the footer is on the left hand side for the right landscape page. Fantastic. So now what we need to do is go back to View, Body. So we've applied the first master page. We now have automatic flowing from right to left master page, and it's affecting the way our headers and footers look because we've set it up that way. Let's zoom back out to 100% so you can actually see it a little better. So we do have the page numbers going back and forth. We've got our first master page. Now what we want to do is we're going to be creating a master page mapping table in part 2 of this particular video. So this is enough for now. Thank you very much. View part 2 to see how to create a master page mapping table and how we can assign landscape right and left master pages based upon element names or paragraph tags.